Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. So we are building in Willow Creek today on a 30 by 20 lot and this is our very first autumnal build of the year and I am so excited. I might have started the autumnal builds a tiny bit early this year, and when I say a tiny bit early, I think last year I actually waited until like the 4th or 5th of September or something like that, so I'm only a few days early considering September does start tomorrow of the day that I am recording this voiceover, but I'm so excited. I looked out of my bedroom window this morning and I saw like the leaves start to fall off the tree and like the trees outside, and they were orange, and I was just like, it's actually happening. We are actually entering autumn, which is my all-time favorite season, and I'm just so excited, so I can't wait to share this build with you all. This house is extremely autumnal on the outside and on the interior as well. I was sharing some kind of work in progress screenshots both on my community tab on YouTube and also over on X as well. So if you want to follow me over on X or Instagram or whatever, I do post kind of a lot of behind the scenes work in progress pics, but I was too excited not to share some of these screenshots with you all. So as you can see, we are working on the exterior here. Now I would just like to say a special thank you to everybody who spoke to me about the holding down the Alt key using the tool mod to size down multiple items. Thank you so much for telling me this, everybody. I really do appreciate it. I've already thanked you individually, all of you, but wow, that I knew I was missing something completely obvious and I didn't realize that it would be something as simple as holding down the Alt key, so that made my job a lot easier, particularly sizing down again these horse ranch shutters, which I did use in my last speed build. I'm going to be honest, they are some of my favorite shutters that we have in the game. I'd quite like some more colour swatches of them. However, I do find myself using them more often than not. So I just wanted to thank you all so much for that little tip. It really helped me out. But what I love about this house is the chimney right at the front. Now, I was working from a few different reference images that I'd pulled from both Pinterest and Google Images. So I'm not going to put any specific ones on the screen for you all to look at like I typically do, just because I was kind of working from maybe 3 or 4 different ones at the same time to achieve the look of this house, which I think it has a really unique kind of more realistic look, which is something that I've been doing. I think for the past few months I've been going for like these slightly more realistic exteriors. My interiors have always been kind of realistic in terms of like the clutter and things like that, but my exteriors have gone on a bit of a journey over the last few months. I feel like I go for like more of a realistic vibe, which I think this house kind of is. You'll have to let me know if you agree or disagree on that one. But yeah, we're currently just working on some landscaping here. Now we are working in the season of autumn in the game because I really just wanted to get across the entire vibe. And I don't know about anybody else, but when I'm watching like builds that other people have done, like season specific builds, so such as this where we're building in autumn, or when you're building in winter and you're looking at like Christmas builds, I much prefer as a viewer to watch the house being built in that season. It just makes me feel super cozy as the viewer, so I like to try and do that for you all as well. Again, if you agree or disagree with that, or you're not really bothered, let me know in the comments down below, but it's definitely something that I really like to do with my own content. But we do end up putting a swing set out here. I think this one is from Growing Together, I believe. And then I did just cut out for a second there because there was just some terrain paint work that I was doing off camera, and then I think I just added a couple of other pieces, but it was really nothing too serious. Just wanted to point that out to you. And then we start adding all of like the autumnal details to the exterior here. This is where I wouldn't say we went nuts on it. We definitely didn't go nuts on it at all. It's definitely more, it's subtle, but it gets the point across. So we put some pumpkins out front, of course. This mailbox is from Seasons, and of course, I think when you're building obviously 4 different seasons. The seasons pack specifically, of course, comes in really handy, and I think to this day it's still one of my favorite packs for the Sims 4, for all the Sims franchises really, Sims 2, Sims 3 and Sims 4. I like the cozy feeling of that pack, and I can't imagine playing The Sims without seasons involved. I don't know if anybody else thinks like this, but when they're actually playing the game, you know, when it starts either raining or snowing, or it's thundering outside, or you start to see like the leaves fall off the trees and or the snow's falling and settling on the floor, does anyone else feel really cozy while they're playing? or is that just me? I do not think for a second that I am alone in feeling that. But just speaking of packs, I don't know if you're all aware, but I do actually have a creator code now. So this is not a discount code or anything like that. It's simply, it helps support me as a creator. It helps support the channel directly because I do receive a small portion of the sale if you guys choose to use code RachelPedd on the EA app or on thesims.com. So I just wanted to thank you all so much for considering using my code. I'd like to thank everybody who has used my code. It's just like, it's such an incredible feeling to me knowing that people actually think of me when they're purchasing their packs. So I just wanted to put that out there for you in case you are in the market for any new packs, then that's definitely an option. There's loads of creators, so definitely check out some of your favorite creators because it may well be that they have their own code, and it's just a fantastic way to support us as creators. So yeah, I just wanted to let you all be aware of that just in case you weren't. But yeah, I'm so adoring adding some of these spooky details, and I did use a few items from the, is it the Spooky Day stuff pack? I'm sure it's called Spooky Day stuff pack. I'm not entirely sure what the stuff pack is actually called. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But anyway, it's a really, really silly stuff pack, but I do often find that when I'm doing builds such as this, I use quite a lot of the items from it. It's a very niche pack. It's definitely like if you don't have it, you're not really missing out on anything. But if you do have it, it's got some really cute kind of Halloween Spooky Day themed items. But yeah, I don't even know why I'm mentioning it. It's really silly. I remember when that pack first came out and I was so excited. I know that there's plenty of like build and buy items, but there's also some costumes for cast that your Sims can wear as well, just in case you're throwing a Halloween or Spooky Day party or something like that. It's just, it's a really fun pack. I would definitely recommend buying it, perhaps if it's on sale at any point, just to add a little bit more kind of things to do in your game or whatever. Or if you're a Halloween nut like me, I can definitely recommend it. But yeah, we have moved onto the back of the build here. We are just sort of recreating some of the landscaping and kind of tying it in from the front. I think looking back, I probably added a few too many landscaping pieces to the back garden. The back garden's not particularly big, and there's 2 reasons for that. One is because I decided to set this particular house quite far back on the lot. I don't know if anybody else does this or anybody else has kind of noticed that it's something that I've been doing recently, but I like to leave quite a bit of a gap now at the front of my builds, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. I think it looks better for screenshots and things perhaps, but I don't know. Second of all, I decided to add these 2 trees to the back garden, but what I've started doing, again, this is something kind of newish that I've been doing over the past couple of months, is that I build the fence around the trees rather than kind of have the trees as part of the garden, like within the fence. I'm not entirely sure why I do that either. I don't know whether I'm thinking in my head, well, that's slightly more realistic, but actually it's probably not. But I don't know. Anyway, you'll have to let me know what you think. If the back garden's a little bit too small for you, then please feel free to either shimmy the lot a little bit closer to the pavement at the front, or kind of encapsulate the trees with the fence in the back garden, or delete the trees altogether and just make the back garden a little bit bigger. I think the thing for me as well is that because back gardens are not particularly a strength of mine when it comes to my builds, I kind of think, oh, well, if they're a bit smaller, it doesn't matter. As long as there's plenty of activities and it looks half decent, then it doesn't really matter. Does anybody else do that, or is that just a me thing? It's probably just a me thing. Anyway, then we move on to the interior and work out the floor plan. So I don't know if I've actually mentioned this, but this is a 3-bedroom and 3-bathroom house. One of the bedrooms is on the ground floor, There is a big bathroom on the ground floor as well, which I would class as the main bathroom for the house. And then the main bedroom also has its own ensuite, which I thought was quite nice. So it's a really well-rounded house. I kind of envisioned that this is for 5 Sims, and kids' bedroom upstairs does have bunk beds. But of course, if you have more Sims than that, then you can definitely adapt this house to be whatever you need it to be and require it to be for your particular Sims family. It's definitely very versatile. I did almost add a crib or a cot, however you want to call it, into the main bedroom, but I've been doing that a lot recently, and so I just didn't do that this time around. So if you've got a teeny tiny Sim that you want to pop in there, then please feel free. But the first room we do start working on is the living room here. Now this living room does go through a few changes as we kind of go through the motions with it. I wanted this to kind of be the heart of the home. Sometimes I talk about how the kitchen's the heart of some of my homes, sometimes I talk about the living room. Definitely in this instance it is the living room that's the heart of the home, so it was kind of nice to do that again. I also added this archway from the Growing Together pack. If you know me and know me well, you will know that if I have the space to add this archway, I will definitely add it. It's probably one of my favourite ones that we have in the game, but you do kind of need a little bit more space to actually use it. And it might seem a little bit tight in this particular space, but I do think it works because this directly leads into the formal dining space for the house. So it worked out quite well. I think it's something that I've been doing quite recently, with a lot of my builds. I have been doing the living room and then the dining room kind of through an archway, so it's definitely something that I've been doing more recently, but I am loving doing it. I think it looks fantastic. I think it works really well. And then also with the kitchen, so the kitchen at the moment is this big room on the right hand side there. Now the kitchen is a very big space, but it also has like a smaller dining table that has, I think, 4 seats around it, and I used the one from Cottage Living actually, but I'm not going to talk too much about that yet. We'll talk about that when I actually move on to the kitchen. But yeah, the living room's coming together really nicely. Just as a disclaimer, I do end up changing this rug because as much as I like this rug, it was just a little bit too dark, and I didn't want this to be a dark house. Obviously I wanted it to have plenty of autumnal and Halloween themed decor because that's my jam. I end up doing this myself in my own house in real life. I mean, I don't go this far, which some of you might be a little bit shocked at, you know, being a Halloween lover. I just put a little sprinkle of autumnal stuff around, although my office ends up being a little bit more Halloweeny than the rest of the house. But I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, I didn't want it to be a particularly dark house. I definitely wanted it to have this cozy, just family-friendly vibe with like a Halloween autumnal theme. So I'm pretty sure I achieved that. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the living room is almost done. But yeah, I do change out the rug for, I think it's just a cream one from base game, if I am remembering correctly. It worked so much better in the space, and it just helped liven it up a little bit. And then I also change out the curtains too, because I don't know, there was just something about these ones from the Modern Looks kit that just weren't doing it for me in this particular space. Usually I love using these curtains. I use these curtains as much as I possibly can, but for this particular house they just weren't working, and that's perfectly fine. I think I end up using the ones from Seasons, I believe, but I mismatched them with 2 other sets of curtains, but I can't remember the pack that they're from because I'm useless like that. Yeah, so I have changed out the rug here, but I do end up changing it again off camera because again this was just a little bit too dark, although I did like the fact that the rug had leaves on it because I thought that fit in really quite well with the theme that we were going for. But yeah, I do end up changing that out off camera, and then we do start working on the dining room here. So this is the formal dining room is what I would class this as. So this is where I envision you Sim families would perhaps celebrate birthdays, or maybe they have a Halloween dinner, you know, because it's a Halloween house, or they celebrate Winterfest in here. Like this is just the formal dining room. And what's really nice about this is that after they've eaten, they can kind of retire to the living room and just relax, watch some TV together. Is kind of how I wanted to portray that. So yeah, I do think it works well in terms of gameplay and just everything really. But I do make, I feel like I'm saying this a lot, I do make a slight change in this room. And it's really nothing major. I just end up switching. So where that plant currently is, I end up moving that to the other corner, and then I end up adding like a little stool with some pumpkins kind of on it and surrounding it just for a little bit of autumnal decor, but I end up switching them around. Why I'm mentioning it, I don't know, but I thought I would mention it just because I think when we cut to the next room, you can see that they've switched, and I'd much rather try and explain it than not point it out. And then this is me attempting to use the tool mod to lower the pumpkin so that it doesn't look like it's floating on top of the stool. So I'm still trying to work out the maths with the tool mod, like what does what, the minus does what, the plus does what, and how much I actually need to put in there to get the look that I'm wanting to go for. I'll get there with it. I'm definitely getting better with the tool mod, which is really nice to actually say out loud, because for the longest time it was stumping me. But anyway, we have moved on to the downstairs bathroom. So this is what I would envision as like the main bathroom of the house. And what I end up adding in here is a built-in wardrobe, because the room itself was actually quite big. I think for me, for a bathroom, people can completely disagree with me on this if they would like. I think everybody's tastes are completely different, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, the bathroom without the built-in wardrobe would just have felt a little bit too big. I wouldn't have quite known what to do with that space. And it only takes up 2 tiles, but what I thought was a really nice idea was that I was thinking for your gameplay and things like that, then your Sims have a wardrobe on the ground floor that they all have access to, and if you want to change up their outfit, plan their outfit, whatever you want to do, then it's there for you to be able to do that. So I just thought that was a nice idea. But yeah, the bathroom I end up really liking, actually. I love cluttering up bathroom spaces. The other bathrooms on the top floor definitely are not as cluttered as that one. I often find that my first bathroom that I decorate tends to be the better one out of the 2 or 3 or 4 or however many that I end up doing for a build, but my bathrooms will typically be very, very similar in one build, because I think that's more realistic. When I look at my bathrooms in my house, all of my bathrooms are decorated pretty much the same, you know, the same toilet, the same tiles, similar showers and whatever. So I like to do that in my Sims builds, but it gets a little bit boring, so I often find that the first one that I do is probably the best one. Anyway, so this is the entrance to the house, and I know people might come for me and say, Rachel, you keep putting your stairs immediately as your Sims walk into the house, and I think that's because of, obviously I'm from the UK, so that's quite normal for our houses. So I need to start getting better at kind of thinking, well, you don't have to place the stairs there. But anyway, that came together really quickly, and then we do start working on the downstairs bedroom. Now, what I wanted this space to be was kind of a multi-purpose space, and what I mean by that, is that I wanted this to be a bedroom. I was kind of thinking that this is either a guest bedroom, or the family have an older child who's currently at university and just come back to stay with them. So this bedroom's kind of also been turned into the home office. So I was going to turn this into just an office. I'm going to be honest, when I first started kind of developing the floor plan in my head, I thought, perfect, I can put an office down here. And then I was thinking, well, actually, what's probably more realistic is that this was a bedroom, and still is a bedroom. It still functions as a bedroom. There's a bed, there's a wardrobe that I end up putting in here. But the family that still live in the house have also thought, well, you know, the Sim that used to occupy this bedroom full-time isn't here full-time anymore. So let's add a desk in here with a computer, and that's kind of how I decided this room would turn out like this. I actually really like it. I need to start doing this more. Now, usually I will definitely add a computer into like a teen room, for example. I never really do it in like a main bedroom for the parents. Sometimes I'll do it in kids' rooms as well, but I'll more often than not, I'll do it in a teen room, especially when I don't have a separate office, because I know how important it is that your Sims have a computer in the house. I think in terms of gameplay and being able to access all these different things, then it definitely helps them out. So yeah, I just think it just works. I think it works. And then I also people are gonna laugh at me, and I'm not gonna cut this out of the footage because I want to see you, I need you to see me struggle with the tool mod here, because I was like, I wanted this little turntable thing to sit on this little shelving unit from the Dream Home Decorator pack, which I'm actually a little bit upset that we don't actually have auto slots on top of that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, the maths just wasn't mathing for me in that particular moment. So yeah, I decided to leave my struggle with the tool mod in that room in the footage, because maybe we could have a little bit of a laugh about it together. But anyway, that room is done, and then we move on to the final room of the house. Not the final room of the house, the final room of the ground floor of the house, and this is the kitchen. So now I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room here, and I feel like I say that quite often with my builds at the moment, but the cooker, the oven, whatever you want to call it, I think looking back I wouldn't have pushed it up against this wall, because this particular cooker, this is from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack. Now I think when I was looking at the screenshots, it looks like the handle kind of has morphed into the wall a little bit. I feel like this is a cooker that's more designed to go in between two kitchen counters rather than up against a wall. I'm not saying you can't have a cooker against a wall. I've seen many houses that have this, and I wanted everything to kind of be a little bit more symmetrical in here, but I wish I'd have chosen a different oven. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case anyone was sat here thinking, that just doesn't look quite right. You are 100% correct, it does not. So if it bothers you, please feel free to change it for another cooker, another oven, because I definitely would, looking back, I would definitely change that. So just wanted to make that clear. But this is the same as all the rooms in the house. I end up adding some like quite subtle, I would say, autumnal decorations in here. So we've got this beautiful cabinet. This is from the Jungle Adventure pack. I've been using this quite a lot actually, and when I have the space to use it, I adore putting it in my houses. I think it looks fantastic. And yeah, I just put this little pumpkin on there, some autumnal leaves. I think I put a candle on there as well, and then I think I change out the drinks tray for something else, but I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what that is. And then we just add some pots and pans on the wall. They are from the Horse Ranch pack. I love using them. There's definitely something really homey and cozy about them, so if and when I can add them, I do. These little aprons are from the base game, and then of course we've got the activity board from the Parenthood pack, because I did imagine that this family has two, I would say twins. Not two twins, but they have a set of twins and they're still children. So I definitely wanted to add that in here as well, so that I think you can set curfews and things like that using that board. So I definitely wanted to add that in here. And oh yeah, we add these little cards, like crafted cards. I think they're from the season's debug menu, if I'm remembering correctly. We end up putting them in there instead. And then this is where the little table goes, so your Sims can definitely eat here if they want to. I was imagining that perhaps they eat breakfast and lunch here, and then they have their dinner in the formal dining room, as I was saying earlier, or for special occasions. And then I was thinking, what do I put in this corner? So I cheated a little bit and I took out this side table that I had used in the hallway, because I just thought, why not? And just ended up cluttering it up with, again, some autumnal pieces here. So there's a little pumpkin, there's some crafts here as well that I thought the kids might have left there. I think looking back, I would have maybe added the board games from the Growing Together pack, because I don't think I added them anywhere in this build, and I always add them in my builds, so I'm a little bit upset that I didn't do that this time. But yeah, if you wanted to add them on there, then definitely feel free. And then I just add some of these, again, crafted cards from, I think they're from Seasons again. I just thought maybe the kids have crafted them and the parents hang them up every Halloween. I thought that was quite a cute idea. And then we move on to the upstairs. The hallway or the landing is very plainly decorated, and I do end up decorating just like the main bathroom for the upper floor first before I think I do the ensuite after this actually. I think I do it quite logically actually, but yeah, my bathrooms are very samey. This one is not as cluttered because I just felt I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. I thought I've already cluttered up one bathroom. I didn't really want to do that for this one. Maybe the Sims use the bathroom on the ground floor more than they use this bathroom. Maybe let's call it that instead of what it is, which was me being lazy. And yeah, we decorate the ensuite next. So this is the ensuite that was off the main bedroom, of course. It's a very, very good size. I was initially thinking that this could have been a 4th bedroom, which you could definitely turn into. This could be a nursery if you just popped the door on the landing instead of coming off the main bedroom. You could definitely do that. I don't know why I didn't. I think it's because there were 3 bedrooms. I always like to have 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, or I'll do 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. I don't ever really feel the need to do like 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. But anyway, then we move on to decorating the main bedroom, which is this one here. I do end up using this bed from the Modern Luxe kit, which I think works really well in this space actually. I was initially going to use the bed from Seasons, and then I was like, oh, that's far too obvious. And then right, okay, so then I tried to do this trick with this cute little throw seat from the little campers kit, and I've managed to make this work on a sofa or a couch before. But unfortunately, it wasn't sitting how I wanted it to sit on the bed. Now, I've no doubt that I could have finagled with the tool mod a little bit more to perhaps rotate it in a certain direction. But look, I did not have the patience for that at the time. So I just ended up scrapping that idea completely. But I decided to keep the footage in anyway, because sometimes I like to talk through ideas that I had that just didn't work out the way I wanted them to. Whatever. And I did end up adding a fireplace in this room because I don't know if you've noticed, these bedrooms on this top floor are actually quite big, which is fantastic for gameplay. I think a lot of the rooms in this house are quite big. I think the only room that isn't really big is the dining room, but it didn't really need to be. So I think I can safely say that all of the rooms in this house are a very, very nice size, which again, I'm going to say it is fantastic for gameplay and to allow your Sims to kind of navigate around the house with no problems. So then this is just me trying to figure out what wall art I wanted to use in this bedroom. I've always said this, but main bedrooms always stump me. I never know what to put in them. Kids' rooms are super exciting to do. You can put toys and clutter and you can mess around with different color schemes and things like that, but my main bedrooms are always, I feel like, quite boring and quite flat looking compared to my kids' rooms. But maybe again that's kind of realistic. I don't know. Anyway, this is the final room of the house that we work on. So this is the kids' bedroom. I didn't really have a specific gender in mind. We end up going for quite like a green, red, yellow and orange kind of color scheme with this particular room, which I was going to go all out with the autumnal and Halloween stuff. And then I figured that maybe that's not too realistic. I feel like when you decorate for autumn and Halloween, at least this is what I do, we don't really do anything in the bedroom. We might put like an autumnal candle somewhere, or like there might be the odd autumn pillow, but we don't really go as nuts on the bedroom decorations as we do with the rest of the house. I don't know if that's fair to say. I don't know if that's fair to assume that everybody else does the same thing, but anyway. So yeah, this bedroom's very cluttered. It's very colourful. There's a lot going on in here, but I really, really, really like how it turned out in the end. I think it looks fantastic and I just really like it. I also like the fact that with this bedroom I decided to do the bunk beds like this rather than just one directly under the other, because I do that so often with my bunk beds and I just thought, let's do something a little bit different here. But that is pretty much it for this video and for this build. So if you would like to download this house, it's available on the gallery right now. My ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box just down below. You can get them for free from SimFileShare. But thank you so much everyone for joining me here today. I really do appreciate it. I cannot wait to read all of your wonderful comments as always. But you all take care, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!